Good evening. I am your host, Caesar Leo, and welcome to the channel. This is my first episode of predicting a UFC event on YouTube, and I'm going to be doing this throughout the rest of the year. Every Friday prior to a UFC event, I'm going to get on here, I'm going to give you my predictions, and I'm going to give you my best bets for the card. Tomorrow we've got one coming from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It is Adesanya versus Imavov in the main event. And then there's the fight I think everybody wants to see in the co-main, and that's Shara Bullet versus MVP. I know I've been looking forward to that one. I just want to say apologies to my friends and family. I said that I was going to start doing this prediction channel early in January. I think it was January 11th was Rebus versus Dern 2. And I've been sick the past couple of weeks. I just started to feel normal again like maybe a week ago. So, hey, better late than never. Let's get this channel going. Let's get these predictions going, and let's make this money. All right, let's get right into this card. All right, my apologies if you're picking up a lot of ambient background noise. I'm not shooting from a fancy studio here, just from my home in New York. So if you hear the sirens, horns, and people screaming for their lives outside, that's normal. All right, so just ignore all of that. Here we got the first fight of the night. It's going to be Hamdi Abdel-Wahab versus Jamal Pogues. I haven't been that impressed with Hamdi, and Jamal actually did good on his last outing. So I really don't know if I'm going to be placing a bet on this one in particular. Jamal is the underdog, plus 110, I believe, currently on DK. And honestly, you could go either way in this fight. Maybe Hamdi's going to have some, home field advantage fighting over there in Saudi Arabia. I just want to note, never pay attention to the odds that you see on, this is the UFC site that I'm streaming this from. So, never pay attention to those odds. They're never correct. If we want to go with, you want to look at your book's lines, and that's really the only lines that you want to be paying attention to. I always usually try to get my bets in as early as possible. As you already know, if you are a gambler, the better lines are always fed early in the week. They tend to get more close towards the end of the week as, all the traffic from all the other bets come in. But yeah, as you can see here, I think they've got Hamdi showing as a 5-0 record. Over on Tapology, they're showing a 3-0 record. I'm just not impressed with him. I'm not really that impressed with Pogue either. So my best bet for this particular fight, if you are strictly just betting on a fight per fight basis, which I would recommend as a bettor, I would probably just avoid this altogether as a individual bet. So I will not be placing an individual bet on this fight, but I'm here to pick someone. So believe it or not, I'm going to go with Jamal Pogues. I think his experience and his last outing showed me that he's ready. And let's see if he gets it done. But I would not be surprised to see it go either way here, folks. So let's go to the next fight on the card. We've got Lucas Alexander versus Bogdan Grad. Grad is making his debut in this fight. Lucas, I believe, lost his last fight to Jeka Sarai. And that was about 1 year, 2 months ago, according to Tapology. Both fighters are 29 years of age. You got a 3-inch height advantage going for Lucas. But Bogdan has looked good on the Contender Series. He is making his debut and I'm always cautious about betting on a debutante. Odds are pretty close on this fight. It's pretty much near even right now, and this is one of those fights that really don't know what's going to happen. I don't have much of a sway going one way or another on this one. So I think, and I believe I'm going with Bogdan Grad on this one, and I'm just going to give him the nod on this one. As far as an individual money line bet, I think I'm going to pass. Just not going to bet on this one. And let's go to the next fight on the card. It is the only WMMA bout on the card. Hallelujah. It is Jasmine Jasdavicius versus Myro Bueno Silva. You're going to hear me butcher a lot of names during the course of the year. Jasmine is on a 3-fight win streak, and Myra is on a 2-fight lose streak. And I think she's going to lose to Jasmine. It's just going to be my prediction on this fight. I'm picking Jasmine, and I'm going to say, for an individual bet on this fight in particular, I'm going to say over 2.5 is usually the solid bet for a WMMA bout, and I am not going to change the formula. I am going to say plus 2.5 rounds on this fight for this card, for the only WMMA fight on this card, and that's what I'm going with. Our next fight up is Terrence McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. Damir hasn't fought, and correct me if I'm wrong, almost 2 years. Wow, 2 years and 6 months ago was his last fight, and it was a loss to Mark DeCasey. A unanimous decision. Terrence, from memory, I remember suffered that horrific knockout from Rebovix not too long ago. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but that was a brutal knockout. That was 8 months and 2 weeks ago, but it was such a brutal knockout, I'm thinking it was like 3 months ago. It's fresh in mind. Here's the deal. If Terrence can't get Damir out, this guy hasn't fought in 2 years, 6 months, whatever I said. He's 38 years old. Terrence, if you can't get this guy out, then you need to be released. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm picking Terrence as my pick here for the week in this fight. If he can't get this guy out, then the future's not looking too bright for Mr. McKinney. But I'm going with Terrence on this one. He's a heavy favorite, but like I said, those odds you see on the screen are bogus. Currently on DK right now, and I'll give you a look at it in a second. Got logged out. That's always nice when that happens. Anyway, Terrence is a heavy favorite. Currently a minus 625 favorite. So that's 6-1 odds on McKinney currently on DK. So yeah, that's a heavy favorite as far as like an individual bet on this particular matchup. I'm going to have to say McKinney by knockout would be my bet. I'm not sure if I'm going to place that, but right now that's what I'm leaning towards. Our next fight, Shamil Gatziev versus Thomas Peterson. Now, Shamil, I believe, both fighters coming off of a win in their last matchups. Both fighters, these are the big boys going at it here. Shamil has what looks like a 4.5-inch reach and a 5-inch leg reach, 3-inch height advantage. But Shamil if you guys remember that fight against Biggie Boy, was breathing his last breaths in that fight. And I don't know, anytime I see a fighter struggle that much just to breathe, it just tells me, Peterson, your road to victory here is to put him on the ground, get this guy breathing hard, and you can sneak out a win here. Shamil is the heavy favorite right now, actually, on DK. Minus 343 to 1 odds against Peterson, who is currently at plus 270. Believe it or not, I've got a feeling, and usually when I get a feeling, I go with it. I'm going to pick the underdog in this case, and I'm going to say Thomas Peterson gets it done. Although I would not be surprised to see this fight end in 30 seconds with Shamil getting his hand raised. It's just the way these heavyweight bouts go. Or they're going to hug each other for 3 rounds, as that's usually, the most entertaining. I'm sure you can agree. Yeah, I'm going with Peterson. I just don't have faith in Shamil. I don't care what his odds say. I don't care, that he is the heavy favorite, and he probably will win. But, anytime that visual of him breathing for his last breath, yeah, I just can't go with a guy like that. As far as a money line bet goes on this fight, I probably would not bet on it as an individual fight. Your safe bet is to say maybe the fight ends by knockout and not pick an actual winner. Not sure what the pay is currently for that fight as a fight winning method. Let's just check this out. Exact method of victory. Minus 110 if you're just going to pick the exact method of victory for the result of this fight. Not a whole lot of profit there, but again, these guys don't always knock each other out, so I wouldn't even say that's a solid bet. I'm going with Peterson. I think he gets it done. If he's smart and fights the way he did against Muhammad Usman last time, I think realistically these lines should be a lot closer for this fight. And we'll see how it goes. Our next fight is the last fight on the prelims. It is Muhammad Naimov versus Khan Offley. I think this matchup is a very close matchup. Muhammad is heavily favored at 3-1 currently on DK. Both fighters coming off a loss. Usually when fighters are coming off a loss, they want to, have a good outing. Only one guy can win, unless, of course, it's that rare draw, that unicorn draw. If I ever call one of those, just, hey, hit the subscribe button on the dot, because I don't think I've ever called a draw correctly in my entire betting life. This fight, I think, is going to be a lot closer than the lines show, but I am going to go with Naimov to get this done. And again, wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way, but I do think Naimov gets this one done. I'm going to say by decision. As an individual bet, that's probably what I would choose. But I probably won't bet on this fight individually. I just don't think it's a whole lot of value there with Naimov. Of course, if you're picking method of victory, there might be a few good plus bets out there, but I don't think I'm going to go down that route. I'm picking Naimov, get it done in this featherweight bout, and on to the main card. First fight of the main card is a lightweight bout. Fares Ziam versus Mike Davis. And this, I think, is an actually really good fight. Mike Davis has looked great out there lately. And so has Ziam. I mean, that knockout he had last time we saw him, it's still fresh in mind. I mean, I really don't know which way I'm gonna go with this fight. This is one of those fights that I'll go back and forth on, and I have been going back and forth on. Both guys on a 4-fight win streak. Both guys look great. Zion, 27 years old. Mike's 32. They've only got an inch difference in height. 2.5 inch reach advantage for Zion. I just think this is a banger of a fight. And I've went back and forth on this, but you know what? I'm going with Mike Davis, actually. He is the slight favorite. And I just think Davis is going to get it done. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm going against Ziam. Ziam has been really good to me the past couple of fights that I've been betting on him, but I am actually going to go with Faris Ziam in this, what I think will be a very good match tomorrow. As an individual bet, probably your best bet would be to just pick either fighter on the money line. It's up to you. I'm going with Mike Davis, but I probably will not place an individual bet on him in this particular match. I really feel like this one could go either way. It's all about who's going to catch who first. Next fight on the card, Saeed Nurmagomedov, no relationship to Khabib, versus Vinicius Oliveira. Wow. Vinicius with that knockout on Sopai last time he was out. I mean, that's highlight reel stuff, folks. This is a banger of a fight. Vinicius is on a 4-fight win streak. Saeed is only on a 1-fight win streak. He had a loss to Jonathan Martinez close to 2 years ago. Both fighters about the same height, 1-inch height advantage for Oliveira, half-inch reach advantage for Oliveira, and a half-inch leg reach advantage. I mean, that's not much of an advantage. Both guys are about dead even. And as far as experience and fighting goes, 21-3 versus 18-3. I'm impressed with both of these guys, and this is a hard fight to pick, but tomorrow I'm going to be going with Nurmagomedov. I think Saeed is going to get some kind of grapple on Oliveira. And all of these guys from Brazil are BJJ black belts. I'm sure Oliveira is one himself. I just think Saeed is going to have an advantage in the grappling, and I think Oliveira is going to have an advantage in the striking. So it should be an interesting matchup. I'm going to pick Saeed as an individual bet. This would be one of those bets I probably place a double chance on. I'm going to say Saeed to win by submission or Oliveira to win by knockout. I think is an actually safe, decent bet to place, and I think I'm going to double chance this bet. But we'll know by the end of the episode when I show you my receipts, and I'm going to show you my receipts and be transparent about my wins and losses on my channel. So keep in mind that I will be showing you my receipts prior to a fight and after a fight. I don't know exactly the format of how I'm going to do that, but we'll see as I go along with my picks throughout the year. Heavyweights again. We got 3 heavyweight bouts on this card, I think, so far. Sergey versus Biggie Boy. I mean, this is alright, I'm gonna tell you right now, this fight most likely ends by knockout. And as an individual bet, that's what I would actually place it down as. Fight ends as a knockout. I'm not picking individual fighter to knock out the other one. I think both of these guys are capable of knocking out each other. Sergey, of course, is coming off that loss to Drago and Jairzinho. Let's see what kind of win streak Jairzinho's on. I think he's only on like a 1-fight win streak, 2-fight win streak. And Sergey's on a 2-fight loss streak. He lost to Aspinall and he lost to Drago last time out. So he is the considerable favorite. I believe on DK he is still hovering around minus 300. So not a whole lot of value, just money lining Sergey. This fight, I think, can go either way. You see that 6-inch reach advantage for Sergey, and he's only an inch taller than Biggie Boy. 4-inch leg reach advantage as well. I just think Sergey, after those 2 losses, is going to come out a different kind of Sergey tomorrow. He's going to... He does not want to go down 3 in a row. So I think Sergey's going to have a little bit extra tomorrow. But Biggie Boy is Biggie Boy. And these guys, these heavyweights, these fights can go either way at any given time. I just think it really boils down to who's going to be the aggressor and who's going to catch who first. I'm going with Sergey Pavlovich as an individual bet. I got to go with fight ends by knockout. Exact method of victory, fight ends by knockout without picking either fighter. I don't know what the odds are currently on that, but I think that's a safe bet for this one. And now we go into the co-main. Shara Bullet versus MVP. All right, folks, this is a serious striker's delight of a matchup. I find it interesting that MVP 2 or 3 times this week I saw him say that he would shoot a takedown if he felt like there was an opening for one, which is an interesting thing to hear coming from MVP. And Shara was over here saying, I haven't shot for a takedown my entire career. And he's not going to start tomorrow, so it will be very interesting to see if MVP actually shoots for a takedown. This is such an interesting matchup. Here, MVP, as you can see, has a 6-inch reach advantage, but only a 1/2-inch leg reach, and there's only a height difference of 1 inch between both guys. These are both high-level strikers, folks. And again, if I'm placing an individual bet, I'm going to say, out of all the fights on the card, I would be most confident with this fight ending by a KO, TKO. Who's going to do it to who, though? That's the real question. But as far as a safe bet goes, fight ends by knockout. I don't think you could go wrong with picking this fight ending by a knockout. As far as who I think is going to win, I'm actually going to go with Shara Bullet. He is the favorite, and that's not the reason why I'm going with him. I just got a feeling that Shara gets it done. He's going to have home field advantage. The crowd's going to be more in his corner, and sometimes that energy, it can sway the outcome of a fight for a fighter, and I think Shara is going to find a way to get within the reach of MVP. I do think there's going to be like a feel-out process. I feel like, there's going to be a lot of respect between both fighters. They're all going to, maybe there's going to be like a little bit of a dance going on in the first round. But I do think things will heat up rather quickly once the first strikes are landed on either side, and I'm just excited to watch it. This is a fight that can go either way, folks, and I really do think best bet you could have is fight ends by knockout. I'm personally going to pick Shara, and let's see what happens. I can't wait to see this one. All right. The main event, Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov. And wow. Izzy, I believe Izzy's on a 2-fight losing streak. I'm going to check that. Yes, he is. And Nasruddin is on a 3-fight win streak. Nasruddin is 28. Adesanya is 35 years old. 1-inch height advantage and a 5-inch reach advantage for Izzy, which I'm sure he's going to try his best to capitalize on his reach advantage, as he usually does with his outside teep kicks and his jabs. He's going to dance. He's going to move around. I think this fight all comes down to whether Nasruddin really wants this win and whether he's going to be able to go a full 5 rounds with Adesanya. That might be, fatigue might be a factor. We don't know. If I'm picking, and I have to pick someone, I'm gonna go Imavov. I've been impressed with him. I like his style. I think for Izzy, his path to victory is obviously do what he's been doing, keep his fighters on the outside, have them fight his fight, kick, jab, get his strikes in, get his punch count up. And that's Izzy's style. For Nasruddin, I think his path to victory in this fight has to be aggression. He's got to get on the inside. He's got to get some shots in. He's got to show Izzy that he means business. And I just think Nasruddin is the more hungry fighter. And sometimes a fighter's hunger is usually what will propel him to victory. I would love to see, a great matchup between these two. I think it's going to be a competitive matchup. But I do think, I do think Imavov gets it done. But we shall see. And that is, I didn't give you what I feel is a safe bet for this fight. I don't think there is a safe bet. Again, a lot of close fights I see on this card. I don't see, too many fights being, overly one-sided. I want to remind everybody, last week, 98% of people on Tapology had Peyton Talbot, and I was one of them. So, when you see a heavily favored fighter, just a reminder, it doesn't always turn out that way. And this fight, as you can see from the odds, even on the UFC site, is pretty close. And they are pretty close right now, currently on DK. Not a whole lot of value swaying either way. As an individual bet, this might be a double chance for me. I would say double chance Izzy to win by decision. And on Imavov's side, I would say Imavov to win by KO TKO. That would be my double chance bet. If your book that you're on doesn't offer double chances, you got to just go with pick a money line on this one, and hopefully you pick correctly. So that's it. Going with Imavov. That's the card. It's a short card. It's 11 fights. Not a whole lot. Let's see what happens. All right, so those were the picks. I'm going to list the full card picks on the screen right now. To the left of Izzy and to the right of Imavov, I am going to list what I feel are going to be my bets for tomorrow night. Just want to say good luck to everybody. Let's see how it goes, and let's see what happens. All right, I'll see you on the next one.